This is an intense film. Was there
Yeah.
something about Eden or the premise of You're Killing Me that really made you want to be a part of this?
Oh, well, I am a crazy person, and the idea of crawling through dirt and mud and doing stunts and doing night shoots for 4 weeks literally sounded like my heaven. So that was really a drawing point for me when I read this and I was like, "Oh, we're going to do a lot of night shoots. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of crying. This is intense. I'm in." So everything about this was appealing to me. And I love Eden and I love how fierce and strong she is.
She's determined, I think is the best word for her.
Yeah.
Not just to get this letter of recommendation, but to, save her friend's life and then also, get out of the
Right. Right.
with
Yeah.
the evidence. It's pretty great. She's I would refer to her as a badass. Is that more or less how they described her to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They absolutely did. And Eden is a badass. She's a total badass. And I love, you know, when you're watching this, it's kind of fun to see her thought process and to see the way that she thinks and a lot of that's one of the things that Jaron and Beth the directors talked to me about early on was like we want a lot of it to be internal. She is the type of girl that internalizes everything, figures out her plan of strategy before she acts on it. So when it's more of like a fight or flight situation, whereas Zara's more like let's flight, let's go, I don't want to. Eden's more of the hold on, here's ABCD path. How do we do it? And I thought that that was just so fascinating and so cool that she thinks like that.
Well, there is such a great on-screen bond between Eden and Zara. Did you and Callie get to spend much time off-screen bond before you started filming?
We met on the first day. So we shot in a small town outside of Atlanta. And so everybody had to travel and get there. And so we all got there maybe the day before we started filming. And it was just like an instant click from the second we all met each other. We all got into the van together and we all were like, hello, what is everybody's names? And it just immediately, it just flowed and worked, which is really special and really cool. But I had never worked with Kiara before. I'd never met her before. It just sort of, we both signed on to this knowing that it was going to be a very intense 4 weeks. And just from the start, just sort of had each other's backs and sort of formed this bond that I think translates on screen pretty well.
There is a lot of intensity to the movie and plenty of screaming. Uh, were you given any advice on sort of how to save your vocal cords or maybe even project the perfect scream?
I um I have nodules on my vocal cords, so I can't scream really. I get like two good screams and then I have no voice for like 4 days. So that's just something I've had to learn how to do with the more, thriller genre films that I do. Um, so it's funny, it's a lot of ADR. It's a lot of I'm gonna save my voice and do it in a studio when they can just replay it. But yeah, I've gotten a good scream sort of down now after some practice.
There are so many intense moments, epic moments as well, and a great physicality to the movie as well. What were maybe some of your more challenging scenes to film for you?
Yeah, I think the more challenging scenes were sort of the scenes towards the end. I think, the last quarter of the movie was probably the most challenging for me because it really gets into a lot of physicality and even to, the thing that happens to her where, without spoiling it, there's just a lot of physicality that I had never really done before, dealt with. And so it was really interesting to kind of learn that and to have a stunt double and to learn from the stunt double and sort of try to take over when I could.
I have to say the outfit you're in most of the film is pretty badass as well. Did it take slipping into that to truly find your inner Eden, or did you find her just through the page?
I think wardrobe does obviously help a lot with transforming. And I do think like putting on the all white outfit with the black jacket and the white wings, there was just something about the layers of that that kind of makes you feel like a little bit of a badass. So I do think that, you know, everything I was wearing sort of just added and helped to the vibe I was already sort of getting with Eden.
Well, the beer pong scene is pretty epic as well.
Yeah.
How versed were you? Or did they have to sort of help you all prep for getting it down?
It was embarrassing how many times we would have to redo it because we would miss. And I mortified. Because you know, it can't be that hard. It's beer pong. We were really struggling. We were really struggling. So they just had to kind of find ways to cut around it. And I even think the one in the movie is a miss, but we just, whoa, you know, we make it till you make it, you know? It was tricky. It was tricky.
I find it interesting too that to me it seems like Eden almost deters from her initial plan rather than more important to get this letter of recommendation that she's now more important. It's now more important to her that she look after Zara and also to vindicate Melissa Brown.
Right.
Is that something that you found an intriguing aspect to the plot as well? Because we go into this and she's got some big ambitions, and this
Yeah.
is pretty determined. Were you surprised when you read in the script that she was willing to go so far for a best friend and maybe even someone she hadn't even met?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised just because that is very on brand with the way that Eden operates. But I love that part of the story. I love that we tell a story of a strong, fearless young woman who is not afraid to put herself in harm's way at the sake of others and to help others, which I just think is so cool. And she's just so fearless and really has just such a great moral compass. She wants what's right and won't stop until she gets what's right, you know?
There are, as we've touched on, so many intense scenes to this film. How did you
Yeah.
all shake off a long day of shooting?
Oh, we all love each other so much as the cast. So I mean, I don't, we never really like stopped hanging out. So we would go and have these really intense days, and then we'd all get into the van to go back to the hotel and be like, okay, you guys awake? What should we do? They're so funny. Will, who plays Gooch, bought a projector and hung one of his sheets in his room. So we'd have like movie nights over at Will's, and he'd project a big movie on the screen, and that's how we would like decompress. And we played a lot of Uno, so much Uno. And so that is, I mean, that's how we would at the end of a long day.
What do you think it is about You're Killing Me that's gonna make it such a fast fan favorite, intense thriller?
Yeah. Oh, I hope it's a fast fan favorite. I think it's a fun thriller with a good-hearted message. Like you really root for your people. You really root for Eden. You really root for Zara, and you really want to see Schroeder just get taken down, you know? So it's a fun roller coaster from the very get go. And I think that it's really fun to watch and it's suspenseful and you're at the edge of your seat. And so I hope people feel that and experience that when they watch this.
Have you been busy working on any other on-screen projects recently?
Yeah, I did. I just finished polar opposite of this, a very lighthearted comedy with Jake Bon Jovi and Tom Everett Scott. And then I'm going to go back to do some more 911 Lone Star, which is a show I'm recurring on a little bit now. So yeah, I'm just staying busy and doing, you know, a little more behind the scenes now also. So yeah, but I love this genre and I love doing this.